the first day of college is always special. For Amin, it felt like a new chapter was about to begin. A chapter full of unknown faces, new dreams, and maybe something magical. As he walked through the grand gates of City Central College with his backpack slung over one shoulder, the sun was bright, the breeze was warm, and his heart was racing. He had always been a simple boy, shy, polite, and a bit of a dreamer. Romance was something he'd only seen in movies and read about in novels. He never imagined it would walk right into his life that very day. The campus was buzzing with excitement. Students were laughing, exchanging phone numbers, and exploring the halls. Amin was searching for his classroom when suddenly he saw her. She was standing near the notice board, her long hair flowing gently in the breeze, her eyes scanning the class list with a focused look. There was something about her, a softness, a calm aura that made everything around her fade away. Amin's heart skipped a beat. "Wow," he whispered to himself. The girl turned slightly, and for the briefest moment their eyes met. Amin froze. Her gaze was warm yet curious, and she gave a small, polite smile before turning back to the board. It was only a second, but for Amin, time stopped. Who is she, he wondered, and why can't I stop staring? He shook his head, embarrassed by his own reaction, and quickly walked to his class. But even during the boring orientation lecture, he found himself lost in thoughts of that mysterious girl with the gentle smile. The next day, fate decided to play its first trick. Amin entered the classroom a little late, hopping to sneak quietly into the back row. But as he scanned the room for an empty seat, his heart nearly leapt out of his chest. She was there, the same girl, sitting by the window, sunlight dancing in her hair. There was an empty seat beside her. Should I sit there? He hesitated. No, what if she thinks I'm weird? But if I don't, will I regret it? With a deep breath and a racing heart, Amin walked over. "Excuse me, is the seat taken?" he asked softly. She looked up, and this time she smiled, a real smile that reached her eyes. "No, you can sit here," she replied politely. "Thanks," he said, trying to sound calm while his heart was doing somersaults. As the lecture began, Amin found it impossible to focus. All he could think about was the girl next to him. After a few minutes of internal debate, he decided to be brave. "I'm Amin," he whispered. "Samia," she replied, turning toward him. "Nice to meet you." Samia, even her name sounded beautiful. From that day on, everything changed. They started talking a little after class, about assignments, professors, and eventually about music, books, and dreams. Samia was kind, funny, and surprisingly easy to talk to. She had a soft laugh that made Amin's heart flutter every time he heard it. One afternoon, after a particularly long lecture, Samia suggested they grab coffee at the campus cafe. Amin tried to act casual, but inside he was bursting with excitement. "So," Samia said, stirring her cappuccino, "do you like it here so far?" "Yeah," Amin smiled. "College is nice, but I think it got a lot better after I met you." Samia laughed, blushing slightly. "You're quite the charmer, aren't you?" "I'm just being honest," he said, looking into her eyes. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. The air between them felt different, warm, electric, and new. It wasn't love, not yet. But it was something real, something that made them both want to see where it could lead. Weeks turned into months, and their friendship grew deeper. They studied together in the library, shared snacks in the cafeteria, and texted late into the night about everything and nothing. Amin had never felt this way before. Every time Samia laughed, it felt like music. Every time she said his name, his heart raced. And slowly, he realized the truth. He was falling in love. But he was also scared. What if she doesn't feel the same? He thought. What if I lose her even as a friend? Samia, on the other hand, was feeling something too, something she hadn't expected. Amin was different from other boys she had met. He was gentle, thoughtful, and always made her feel safe. She didn't know when it happened, but she started looking forward to every moment with him. One rainy evening, as they were walking back from the library under a shared umbrella, Amin decided to take a small risk. "Samia," he he said softly. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you believe in destiny? She smiled. Maybe. Why? Because I feel like destiny brought me to you, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Samia looked at him, surprised and a little shy. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. The rain kept falling, and the world seemed to pause around them. Maybe it did, she finally replied, her cheeks turning pink. Alamin's heart soared. It wasn't a confession, not yet, but it was a beginning, a promise that something beautiful was growing between them. That night, as he lay in bed, Alamin couldn't stop smiling. He replayed every second of their walk, every glance, every word. He didn't know what the future held, but one thing was certain. This was only the start of their story. And deep down, he knew. It was going to be something unforgettable, sparkling heart,